the social justice chairwoman.
Exactly.
It's got to be fair.
Exactly.
You know, it's not fair. Kids should go to bed at different times. Kids should have different allowances. Treat kids differently. Now, I hate to pull out the big G word on you, but does God treat us all the same? Or does he treat us differently? Did he give us all different gifts? This comes right out of the birth order book. Identical twins have the same DNA. They're genetically the same person. Okay? Why did God give identical twins different fingerprints? To help the FBI and the local police?
Probably.
Or was this his way of saying, you are my son, you are my daughter? So don't get hung up on the fairness thing. When I say kids are the enemy, how come she got that and I didn't get anything? Oh, honey, it's because your mother and I love her so much more than you. I mean, you know, when two kids are fighting over a piece of cake, hey, look at one of them and say, you cut and you choose. The problem's solved. In other words, remove your sails from your child's wind. Keep in mind the kids are hedonistic. They're like wet cement. And God has given us the ability to shape these kids. The scripture, I hate to keep bringing up the scripture. There's probably a lot of heathens watching this right now.
Bring up the scripture. I need the scripture.
But here it is. Train up. Now, first of all, train. That means, you know, you don't just instantly, kids aren't just going to fall in line. And there is this training aspect. And then train up. Most of us train down. We talk down to kids. We make decisions for kids. You know, train up a child. Again, mom is going into a store with a 9-year-old and 7-year-old. Here's the conversation. All right, listen up. No running around, no fooling around, and don't ask for anything because the answer is no. I'm just going to run in here and get a few things for dinner. You got that? Now, what have you just told the kids?
What to do.
Yeah, and I expect you to what? Misbehave. What do the kids do? They misbehave.
Yeah.
So, as parents, we have tremendous impact on our kids. But the fairness thing, I'm telling you, life isn't fair, and it's not going to be fair. And as a parent, you need to be in healthy authority. So you're not the authoritarian, and you're not the permissive. The permissiveness breeds rebellion. But here's the interesting thing. The authoritarian breeds rebellion, and that's why the words of St. Paul are so great about being in healthy authority. So when little Ethan at age 12 gets a little mouthy, okay, is he going to be a hockey player someday and do Canada proud?
I don't know.
Who knows?
We'll see.
But supposing he's mouthy to you on a Saturday morning, and then he's got his hockey practice that he loves to go to on Saturday afternoon, and he says to you, Mom, we're going to be late. Hurry up, we got to go. Honey, go where? And look at him with a deadpan expression. Mom, I got hockey practice. Coach gets mad if we're late. Honey, the car's not going anywhere, neither are you. Mom, what are you talking about? Honey, you know, I'll tell you the truth. I didn't appreciate the conversation we had this morning. Turn your back and walk away. Now, if you want to rake coals on 12-year-old little Ethan, you just did. And he is going to get in touch with his feelings. You women are always talking about getting in touch with your feelings. Well, this is a chance for little Ethan to get in touch with his feelings and figure out what he said to his mommy was wrong. It was disrespectful. And so that's why I say you remove your sail from the kid's wind. You know, don't ask kids questions. Oh, Dr. Leman, I must, well, respectfully disagree with you. I've heard you on Dr. Dobson and several other programs, and I respect you, but I really think it's important to ask your child, how was your day at school today, honey? Okay. How was your day at school today, honey? Fine. What'd you do in school today? Nothing. Teenager, where you been? Out. What'd you do? Nothing.
Someone give
You want to
them a
ask questions?
manual?
Go ahead.
They all do the same thing. How does that happen?
Well, but see, if you just shut up, if you don't ask questions, this is my point, kids will tell you what's going on in their life. Kids...
How do you get to that point for them to tell you? You've got to be there in the same room with them. And
In Espanol, cállate tu boca. It means shut your mouth. You know, you can, it's interesting, Ann. You can say to a kid, tell me more about that. Now, tell me more about that is a command. But you know what? That doesn't put the defenses up. And by the way, you can do that with your husbands, ladies. As a sidebar, never ask your husband why. Okay, that just will shut down if you ask us why. But if you say, oh, that's interesting, even though it sounds really stupid, that's interesting. Tell me more about that. He'll tell you. So the same thing works with kids.
Well, it fascinates me that it can be that simple. Like like 5 days. You're saying you can have a.
I told you it's a scam. You weren't listening.
Okay, no, I know. I heard it's.
You have to
I
pay
heard-
attention.
I am.
2 days.
But okay, 2 days. But it amazes me that these are just simple things of a parent's behavior to change and to repeat and to commit to. And I just think that it's fascinating when you get into, and I'm not a parent, but you hear all the issues of parents and all these big, things they're going through. And you just say, well, this is what you need to do.
Well,
and it's pretty simple.
Here's a good one. Getting kids out the door for school in the morning is a major problem for most parents. And they have the same conversation every morning. They're the human alarm clock. I'm telling you for the last time, the bus is going to be here. I'm not going to call you again. John, Robert. We always put the middle name in when we get mad at the kids. And he goes through this whole thing.
That's why they have middle names.
You are not wearing that to school today. We've had that conversation. You put that back right now. Well, once the kid gets on the school bus and goes to school, my question is, how do you feel about yourself as a mom or a dad? Not very good. I don't want to yell at my kids. You want to do things different when the school year rolls around, and that's your problem? The very first day of school, don't wake them up. You say, well, what do you mean don't wake them up? I don't wake them up, they're going to be late for school. Now you're catching on. Now, when that kid wakes up at 9:30 in the morning, yes, he's going to be unhappy, okay? But, and he's going to try to make it your fault, and you're going to say, honey, whenever you're ready, I'll be glad to give you a ride down to school. And some people are thinking, hello, Leman. Hello, Earth to Leman. That's an inconvenience. Hello, Earth to viewer. Having a kid is a terrible inconvenience. But anyway, the point is, you got to write a note. And here's the note. Dear principal, dear teacher, Fletcher has absolutely no reason to be late today to school. Feel free to do whatever you do to kids who are legally tardy. Love, Mom. And that's what I call putting the old proverbial tennis ball on the right side of the net. And when you do that kind of stuff, so you see how simple it is? It gets you out of that game that we play every morning called Mom or Dad's the bad guy. So I'm not going to be the human alarm clock. So even a young kid can learn to set an alarm. So it is simple.
So you can save yourself some heartache by saying the night before, set your alarm because I'm not waking you up. Like, just lay the ground rules.
You can do that, for sure.
That's fair.
But if you really... Here she goes.
Here she goes again.
The fairness doctrine goddess is with us today. But this would be my preference. See, I think warnings are basically disrespectful. I think warnings basically say, I think you're so stupid, I got to tell you 4 times. And so what I like to do is sort of bushwhack them, surprise them. There's no warnings in have a new kid by Friday. They learn through experience. They learn the hard way. You talk to anybody who's learned lessons in life, and they'll tell you some of their best lessons in life were out of failure. We'll try to be like me and go on a program and say the home ought to be a place where kids learn to fail. What do you mean, fail? We want kids to succeed. Well, talk to anybody who's successful, and they'll tell you what. You know, and if you're a child of God, I got news for you. You came to God through what? Through victory? No, you came to God through failure. So it's a great. It is simple.
Well, your book is packed full of good stuff. I know Maggie's evidence of that because she's got these papers sticking out all over. And Dr. Leman, you're with
What
us.
have you done to that book?
I know. She's, you know what?
It's only in the first 5
We are
pages.
so thankful
lot of them
that
in
you're
there.
here for the whole hour because Maggie's got a lot of questions. And I have a feeling you've got a lot of questions too. So stay tuned because there's a lot more to come with Dr. Kevin Leman.